Hi traders, it's Matt with Conservative Trades. Kind of boring day today in the live stream. Didn't really have too much going on. I, as a matter of fact, was red on just about every single trade. I think actually at one point I was red on every single trade. For those of you who were in the live stream today and you saw that at one point I was down over $400, you may be surprised, but I did end the day actually only down $21.48. Fees and commissions and everything altogether, I'm probably down about 80, 90 bucks on the day. So we'll just say down 100 bucks on the day, which means I'm still up about probably 750 on the week. And again, after fees and commissions. So we're doing all right, guys. Monday and Tuesday were pretty good days. A little slow, but still good. Today was just choppy, and I got chopped out of a lot of trades. I just did. And we can go over a few of them here. Let me see here. I'll start with INO. First of all, INO. This stock gets me every time, guys. I don't know. I should probably just stop trying to trade it. But I will say this. I did make a couple good calls. Again, this is, something you'll have to go back and watch in the live stream to be able to validate what I'm about to tell you here. But I did call this level here as a pretty key area of resistance, really between 850 and 860. So here in pre-market hours, we've kind of broken out a little bit over it, but here on the day, I mean, we pretty much respected this level multiple times. But there were two levels I was looking at, and the first level was more around the 750 area, which is why after I saw a huge run up here and a big pullback, I went ahead and got in. I was thinking that maybe we'll get a rollover and a slam down to all-time lows. So that's kind of what I was looking for on this one. But you can see here with the red, I got in short, then I had to cover here at the break of VWAP. It came up here, closed out kind of on a doji, so I thought maybe this is just a fake out breakout over VWAP, and so I took another some shares short here, and then I got out here. And then once it broke through VWAP, I took it short again here at the break of the 20 EMA on the 5-minute, and then it cracked back up, and I got out at the break of this candle here and covered. So same thing, it ramped back up here, but it was having a hard time getting further up past this level. And again, this is the 759 level, and I'm like, this is a point of resistance that I did mark out. It could be forming one of these. So I went short here, and as you can see, it got out, and I got my shares out at the break of this candle right here. And then I went short again and got out and covered. So this was just not my day, and I probably shouldn't have tried trading INO so many times here. But because I took conservative share size, I was only down at one point, like maybe 165 on INO. So it's not something that you can't come back from. As a matter of fact, you can see I'm only down $35.02 on INO today. So I did make some pretty solid trades. But the other trade, one of the trades that kind of helped me get a little bit closer back to break even on INO was after it did hit this critical level right here, right at 850. And so I had marked this out on the daily chart here. I'll just zoom out here, and we can see that it, at this level, just look over, it roughly touched this a few different times, again, between 850 and 860 level. It touched it a few times. And as a matter of fact, this had acted in this whole area of consolidation back here from last week. It had acted as kind of, a point of resistance. And then after it broke out past it, it had this huge run up. So then when it comes back down, it taps right here on 853, bounces, comes down and retests right around 860, bounces, come around to retest, more around the 870 area, bounced, and then finally broke through, then got violently bought back up. You can see here on this day, it violently got bought back up, but then when it came down, it slammed through it, came up to retest that level, and then just continued to go down. So this was a very important level here today. Like I said, the 850 to 860 level, which is why I think that once it came up here, it lost so much of its value so quickly. And so I thought to myself, okay, this is an opportunity to get in on. So I waited for the retest, and I started with a position here. I was going to plan on averaging in a little bit as it made its way up, but I went ahead and got in here. It came down. I took some profits. I averaged back in here. I let the VWAP fake out play out, and then it came down here. I got out here, and then I had actually drawn this trend line, and I realized that this was probably bouncing. It could be taken as a trend line bounce. Obviously, trend line bounces don't always play out perfectly, but it's basically it came close. It came close enough, and so when it started recovering, I went ahead and just got out here the rest of my shares, and then I tried again later, of course, up here, because I'm thinking to myself, well, again, maybe we're just looking at another one of these. So I got in here, and when it started to get to the trend line, I went ahead and took some shares off, and then I got out the rest at the break of this candle. Okay, and I'm glad that I did, because I wouldn't have wanted to hold all the way up there. But then came around again, did the same thing. But here's the thing. With this one, I saw where, okay, the first time it hit 849, the second time it hit 850. And then the third time it came up with a significant breakout. It made it 10 cents over 850. So you would think that this would be enough of a strong breakout to keep it going. But what happened? The bulls or the bears slammed it down. Okay. And so I saw this going on over here and I thought, man, this is a failed breakout on the high of day and at this really key level of resistance. So I went ahead and went short, averaged in here. Well, I had gotten off some shares here, then I averaged back in here, took profit here, here, and then got out here before it went break even. And then I took a very small pre-market trade here, just 200 shares with a like a 11, 12 cent move. So, guys, I know, really, I mean, here's the thing. Honestly, if I had been more patient today, it would have worked out. If I had just waited for it to come up to these levels here, I would have had a much better opportunity with INO. As you can see, I mean, just it beautifully worked out here. And so, and it worked out here multiple times when it hit those levels. Again, you can always tell very key areas of support by using, by looking back on previous history. And when you see points that are tapped upon, whether they come up and they meet them as resistance or they come down and tap on them as support on multiple occasions, I mean, you know that those levels mean something, and they mean something to a lot of traders out there who are watching these stocks. So anyway, the trade that really, I'll say, saved my butt today was UGAZ. So UGAZ, and as a matter of fact, again, you can go and fact check this by watching the live stream. It is posted on the channel. But there was a time where UGAZ came up to here and it started to come back down and it was knocking right on the door of 48. And I actually put an order. It was very spready stock today, by the way. So I put in an order for like maybe 50 shares or something at 48.20. I think 48.20. Might have even been 100 shares. I can't remember how many shares it was. 50 to 100. Very small share size. But I was hoping that it would, snap back, catch my position before making this move here. And I obviously didn't know it was going to make this kind of a move, but I knew that, we had a chance of, with this trend line rejection, if we broke through these moving averages, we could at least test, some of these levels back here. So, but anyway, just missed that move. But when it came up, I drew the trend line again and I went ahead and took the trade, and I let the trade somewhat work against me a little because I just thought, this could be a trend line fake out. So it did prove to be. And when it came down here, I started taking some shares off at the break of the 9 EMA, and then it came up and I got out the rest break even because I thought maybe now it's going to break out of the trend line. But it rolled over and I went short again here and went short again here, averaged in, took profit. And then I noticed that the SPY at this point was hitting on some critical levels. It was kind of making its way down to this area of support that I had marked out. And I thought to myself, if this breaks through, this is going to probably make its way down to test previous day's lows, or maybe two days, the low of 2 days prior. So I saw this kind of working itself out, and I saw these wicks forming, and so I knew that if this actually starts breaking, through this level, then we're going to get a good move. So I just went in, starting with extremely conservative share size. I started with 25 shares here. I added on another 25 here, another 25 here, another 25 here, and 25 here. And so I caught it at the top, guys, right at that trend line. And I had about 125 shares at one point. And I was going to be ready to get out if it continued going up, and if, of course, if SPY had rejected that that level that I marked out. But it came here, started breaking through. I went ahead and just took the first 25 off. Obviously, I'm losing a little bit of money on those first shares, but pretty much everything from here on down was pure profit, and that put us up almost 200 on the day. Both of the trades that I took on UGAZ is basically what saved our butts today. And of course, I traded these a little bit more. I scalped some of these other tickers a little bit more just to lower the loss on them. So anyway, guys, boring day today, but I'm glad that I was able to just dig myself as much out of the red as humanly possible. So I'll take it, guys. It was a rough day, and my strategy didn't really play out as well as I would have liked for it to. And, that's the thing about having a conservative style trading strategy. You have to, when you take smaller share size, you've really got to let them work out more. You got to let the trades work out. I mean, there was a point where I was pretty much green on all of these trades for the most part. I mean, there was a point where VIR was up like 80, 90 bucks, and I could have taken it there, but I was just looking for a much stronger move. I was looking to make 200 or 300 bucks, so I didn't want to take it. So eventually it moved against me, and I ended up down on the trade. And then same thing with TVIX, same thing with SFIX. INO is probably really the only caveat to that, but for for the most part, a lot of these tickers at one point I was up 30, 40, 50, even 80, 90 bucks on. And if I had taken profit on all of those when I gained a little bit of a move on them, then we would have been up, maybe a couple $100 at one point on the day. But you have to stick to your plan. You have to let your winners run. It's one of the hardest things to do, but when you actually put that into practice and you do it enough times, it does get easier. Now, does it come back and bite you in the butt? Yes. Does it come back sometimes? I mean, sometimes I do think to myself, man, if I had just jumped in with 1,000 shares and it made that 40-cent move, I could have taken $400. Instead of just coming in with 100 shares, it makes that 40-cent move, and you want it to move at least a whole dollar on that 100 shares, or at least 50, 60 cents, so you can justify the trade. You want to make at least 50, 60 bucks on a trade with 100 shares. And so, sometimes stocks, though, they have a hard time moving more than 30, 40 cents. And so that's kind of where the conservative trading strategy can bite you in the butt. And so one way to remedy that is just find stocks, look at daily charts. I come into the market every day and I look at daily charts and I watch for key critical levels of support and resistance, areas where if the stock ends up running in one direction or the other, it can make a pretty significant move. And so even with UGAZ today, I mean, essentially this was from $46 all the way down to 39. I mean, this was almost a $7 move. You can find these moves often throughout the day. You can find these moves. And you guys who have been keeping up with the channel for the last few weeks since we started here, you've seen these moves. And so, that's kind of one of the things that I depend on. I depend on coming in the market and being able to take stocks at levels where they have room to run. Okay, but sometimes the market's choppy. On days like today, sometimes it's choppy. Sometimes other stocks are not choppy. Sometimes stocks run pretty good, but you just so happen to miss those ones. So it can be a little frustrating, but we're still up on the week. We're doing fine. Guys, come back. Join us again tomorrow in the live stream. Hopefully we'll have a much more exciting day. I'll see you then. Take care.